Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my podcast. Thank you so much for listening in, and I'm just very grateful for all the views I've been getting. They're not a lot, but compared to when I started for the first week, it is increasing, and I'm so glad that I'm reaching a little bit of small audience. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you listening in and just letting me give my 2 cents on things I'm most passionate about. Um, I am trying to be very authentic in this podcast, so I'm trying to not edit anything, and I wanna just record and upload a single file as it is because as of now, I'm not sponsored. I'm doing this on my own. I don't have any money coming in, so I don't need to edit the podcast for ads or anything like that. However, people tend to like edit the podcast in terms of speed up the voice or, cut out any blank spaces or, edit out the ums and stuff like that, someone naturally says. But, I have been recently thinking and, I thought I would be as authentic as possible by, just not edit any of my audio files and just upload them as they're recorded, basically. Actually, the last few episodes have been like that. I have been trying to attempt to do that. So I feel like it has been successful so far. There hasn't been any decline in interest on my episodes. So as long as I can, I will continue to do that. Try and be authentic and not edit my recordings before submitting them. So I'm back again this week with a few recommendations I would like you guys to try and watch. These are pretty fun. This week I tried to cover, just like last week, some of the most popular streaming services. So you guys have something and try to cover the biggest, audience group with all these recommendations. For example, this week I have recommendations on 4 different streaming platforms, and all four are pretty big. They're one of the top, most popular ones and most used ones out there. So I'm sure you'll find something you could do this week. So the first show I would like to recommend, it is on Netflix. It is a limited series called The Fall of the House of Usher. You might have seen this recommended to you. I believe it was released around the time of Halloween, or could be later. I'm not sure. It's possible that it is released after Halloween. However, I have recently had the opportunity to watch this last week, and I'm not a horror fan. Like a horror genre is not at the top of my priority. But one of my colleagues who watched this highly recommended this to me. So I thought I would check it out. And I have watched this mini series. It's a horror mini series, and The Fall of the House of Usher. It is very good. Honestly, I really enjoyed watching this. So the premise is there is this super rich pharmaceutical family, and all of the children of the head of the family start to die one by one under what is shown as supernatural circumstances. So we don't know what's happening. We don't know why they're dying one by one. So there seems to be an entity that seems to be doing this, and they need to figure out how and why it's happening, and they have something in the past that they are trying to get clues from. They're trying to learn what to do, if they can stop it, all of that. So it is a very good show in terms of horror, dealing with your trauma, past trauma, versus your ambition and all of that. So it is a very good show to watch. It is a limited series, so I believe the story has been concluded. If you are a horror fan, you might know the name Mike Flanagan. He has released some really good horror content out there in the recent years. So this was created by him as well. So the Fall of House of Usher definitely has is a good candidate for horror if you want to watch something horror. So definitely check that out on Netflix. And the next one I would like to talk to you is called Welcome to Wrexham on Hulu. It is a sports documentary where if you might have heard of this, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Uh, you know Ryan Reynolds, he played Deadpool. That's what he's most famous for. And Rob McElhenney, he's one of the main characters and creators of the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So these two guys came together and bought a fifth tier soccer team in Wrexham, which is in Europe. It's part of the United Kingdom, I believe. And this show, Welcome to Wrexham, it is a documentary of that team and how they are, trying to get promoted to the next league. And I, this is a very good documentary because one, I'm not a sports fan in general. I don't follow sports and all of that. But I really like this documentary because it's not just about the sports element of it. It is also focused on the business element of owning a soccer team like this and how it can be operated. But also, it is about this town who dedicatedly love this team, and they have been losing year after year after year. So they have very much attachment to it, but they don't have hopes. So it's about a town who is coming together and try to be hopeful um, to see this team succeed. And small towns are very dedicated to their teams. It kind of brings the whole town together. So it is kind of heartwarming to see all these elements in the documentary. So that's something I would definitely recommend watching. It's called Welcome to Wrexham on Hulu. All right, the next thing I would recommend watching, it's on Apple TV Plus. If you do have Apple TV Plus, you probably heard of this show. It's called The Morning Show. It stars Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston and a bunch of other people, but these two guys are the main leads. This is about this show is about like the title suggests, a fictional morning show that you know talks about news and all of that. Um, the characters in the show are journalists and producers and create news and showcase news on news channels. And this talks about the inner, dealings of all that. The seasons one and two talked about a predator, among the show, but season three talks about, looks at the business end of it. And in season three, um, the show or the channel that the show is in gets is trying to, some people are trying to sell it to try and save it. Some people are not trying to sell it to save the legacy. So the business end of it, where they are trying to get a billionaire to acquire this company, and who is played by John Hamm, if you know from uh, Mad Men series. So it is definitely something I would recommend watching, the morning show. It is quite funny. The dialogue is really witty. Also, it is quite emotional, and it is something that you could watch. Season three, the whole of season three is out, so it is very interesting to look at the business end of, how something like this would occur. So definitely recommend watching the morning show on Apple TV Plus. It is also a good show to binge now that the whole show, all the episodes are finished airing. So definitely check it out. And next thing I wanna talk about is the Emmy nomination this week. It's called Succession on Max. It is a quite popular show. It is a very uh, again a business focused show where this billionaire news family, or billionaire family that has a news channel, that has newspapers, parks, all of that, try to navigate. like the name suggests, succession, where the head of the company tries and have one of the kids be the heir and become the next CEO and next one in charge, and all the kids try to compete for that role. And it's a very funny show. It is a dramedy. It is you know a drama show, and it is a comedy show. And actually, I think since I've recommended so many of the Emmy nominated series, I think I'll stop for now. I'll pause the recommendations based on Emmy nominations. But Succession would be the last one I would recommend for you guys to watch on Max. So that is that. And I have actually recommended The Killer on Netflix, I think, a couple weeks ago. And I've wanted to talk about that here. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers. I'm just going to talk about the characterizations of the character and all of that, and just how I felt in terms of the filmmaking aspect of it. It is directed by David Fincher, who you might have heard of. They directed awesome movies like Gone Girl, Zodiac, uh, what else? There's Seven. So he has this particular style of filmmaking, and The Killer. One of the main things I loved about The Killer is the visuals. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is such a beautiful movie to look at in every different lighting, in every different perspective. It is absolutely gorgeous. Michael Fassbender as the main character in The Killer, he is this focused, hyper focused killer, contract killer, who does not let his emotions take care, impact his decisions while he does his job. However, something goes wrong, and now he has to figure out what went wrong and why it had gone wrong, and um, why someone else is coming after him because of that fact. So he definitely at this point has a lot of emotions that he's trying to control and not impact, but as you know, it's there are circumstances for him, and it is impacting him, and he's trying to avoid that. So Michael Fassbender plays this type of role very well. He's super focused, and it is an awesome thing to watch. I believe it is more of a character study rather than an action film. There is amazing action in this, but it's very limited. I would not characterize this as an action film, because if you just go in expecting action, there's a chance you'll feel bored. But if you just want to watch a beautiful movie visually, but also a character that does horrible things, but has a reason behind it, but not a good reason. It's a selfish reason, but also it's a very he tries to be this robot killer, but he is not. He is very much human, and he tries to be perfect, but he makes mistakes along the way. So he has to, overcome that and figure out what to do. Um, I believe the sound design in this is also very interesting, um, because the sound changes to the every shot in its perspective. Like if it's a killer's perspective and he's listening to the music, you will listen to the music as he is. But if you are looking at Michael Fassbender's character, the killer, you would get the perspective of this third party looking at him. So you will hear muffled music, and it is very unique. It was a little distracting at the beginning, but once you get used to it, it is uh, very effective in having you stand in the main character's shoes and experience and see what he is seeing and experiencing and hearing. So that is a very good. It's different. It's not been done by a lot of. I haven't seen this in a lot of movies. It is different, so that's something you can probably enjoy. So yeah, these are the recommendations I have for this week. Um, the Killer, like I've already recommended this, like I've said last a couple weeks ago, but that's again definitely I've talked about this now, and since I've talked about it twice, you would know how much I've liked this. Um, the Fall of the House of Usher, also on Netflix. Succession on Max, The Morning Show on Apple TV Plus, and Welcome to Wrexham on Hulu. So, yeah, this is December. It's so fast this year, went by so fast. I'm sure there's a bunch of content that's coming out this month. So please subscribe to my podcast wherever you're listening to it so you can keep getting regular posts about it. And thank you so much for listening in. All right, bye.